Going live on one of these channels. I just got to work out which one it is. There I am! Hello and welcome to Tactical Tuesday. That's right, it is Tuesday, therefore it's time for tactics. And today we're going to be talking about sales. So I can see there's one person on the line. There might be other people on the line on some of the other channels. I'm not 100% sure. But put comments below. Like, let me know whether you're here. If you're not here, you can't let me know. So that's going to be a bit weird. I saw an emoji. I don't think I've seen an emoji work that way before. And I saw some other things too recently from other people doing lives. I'm pretty sure through this facility, which is StreamYard. And so I'm going to try a few little things as well. So if you can put a comment down below, I'm going to see what I can do with it. Hopefully there's a way so I can show it up there. And anyway, we're going to practice with that live. Why not? But today we're going to be talking about sales. And really, sales is the pointy end of anything that we're doing around our business, because it's the one thing that actually does bring dollars in the door. We can say you're writing invoices brings dollars in the door, but the actual fact is we need to close the sale. We need to get the yes in order to actually create that invoice and therefore get the money in the door. Now, everything else, supports that for sure. But there is that one crucial moment where people have to say yes. So the things I'm going to be talking about today is how to improve that, how to make that a little bit easier without having to look at all these different processes. There are all sorts of different types of selling. There's spin selling, and there's like service-based selling, there's authority selling. There's all sorts of different models for selling. But what I'm going to be looking at today is actually just simplifying that down a little bit and just getting to the core of what we're trying to achieve. Now, what we are trying to achieve at the end of the day is some agreements. We're getting people to say yes to us. Now, this is not the trick that people use sometimes of getting people to say a number of yeses in a row. Therefore, they might stumble over the yes and saying yes to your sale. This is just getting some agreements between you and the person you're working with to really understand that you're going to be providing value for this person. And the one of the keys that we're going to be doing is these 5 questions, agreements, commitments, beliefs, really, that will help you get to a sale. So I'll just quickly go through those. So there are these 5 beliefs that people need to have, and 5 agreements that we really need to have as a contract to get to that yes. And at the end of the day, your prospect needs to understand that the thing that you're providing, whether it be advice, whether it be a service, whether it be a product, whatever it is actually going to be more valuable than the problem that they're trying to solve. And so these 5 agreements, and I've actually got them written here. These I do know most of them, but I want to make sure I'm reading it properly, right? So the first agreement is that they want a better result. And a lot of that stuff comes down to very much what I've talked about in the past. It's not pushing for the needs. Like, we often know as professionals that someone needs what we've got, but if they don't want what we've got, there's no point in actually selling it to them, because it's either going to be a difficult sell, they're going to be difficult to work with, or at the end of the day, they're not going to say yes. So the prospect needs to understand that they want a better result. The thing that they've got, they're not happy with, they want something better. So that's agreement number 1, that we both agree that they want a better result. They also need to have a belief, really, that the result that they want is in fact possible. It's funny that there are all sorts of people out there, gurus, so to speak. Usually not gurus, actually. Usually there's a younger group of these people, entrepreneurs, let's call them, that are out there selling these $1 million, $10 million businesses. Will get you up to $10 million in the first year, and all this sort of nonsense. And for people that are entering into the space, they sometimes will believe it because they don't have any other better experience to base that on. But anyone who's been in business for any length of time, say 5 years or so, any time after that, that there are all sorts of promises out there that people are willing to make, but it doesn't mean they're going to be able to keep them. So you, as the prospect, or whoever it might be, as the prospect, needs to believe that the result that you're both talking about is possible. Now, that's agreement number 2. They need to agree that it is possible. The other thing, the number 3, is that there is a specific problem. And really that could almost come to the top, but they need to believe that there's a specific problem that they have, and then a specific problem that you can solve. And so that's an agreement and a belief at the same time, really. And it fits into my 3 beliefs that come into the marketing space, which is they believe they've got a problem, they believe that you have a solution, and finally, they believe that you have the best solution for them right now. So they need to believe they have a problem, and they need to agree that that is the case. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the problem is costing them more than the solution. Now, this is an interesting one because there are all sorts of numbers that people throw around, but the reality is for someone to move and change or say yes really to whatever it is that you're going to be working with them on, there needs to be enough pressure for that to actually happen. There needs to be a catalyst, if you will. And so I always like to look at the the solution should be worth 10 times the problem. So let's say, for instance, they are aiming to create an extra $100,000 in their business. I believe that you should be able to sell that solution up to about $10,000. Now, you might be able to sell it for more, $20,000, $30,000, whatever it might be, because it makes good sense. But if it's a problem that they've been sitting on for some time, there's usually a reason. And it's usually the devil you know, or they don't quite believe that the solution can get them there, or whatever it might be. But the 1 in 10 or the 10% cost to solution is often a one that I lean into because it's a great differentiator. So if you can both agree that the thing that they're looking to do and that they believe that they can do is worth X amount of dollars, and that your solution is ideally 1/10 of that, what does that mean? That means yes, they could do it. You know, why wouldn't they do it? It seems like it's a no-brainer. All right, so that's number 4. The problem is costing them. So it's not about it's interesting about the costing thing is it's often about taking things away. So some people will go, well, I could get you an extra $100,000, right, for your business. They're like, yeah, but I'm okay, I'm comfortable. But if you were to say you're about to lose $100,000 in your business, that's a much different proposition. And so that's where it's costing them money. And so if you can help them identify where they're actually losing money, that's actually much more devastating than actually the opportunity loss on gain. All right, so that's number 4. The problem is actually costing them. And number 5 is that it's unwise or impossible to do it alone. So whether can they do it without your product? Can they do it without your service? Can they do it on their own? Potentially they can, but ideally they need to believe that it's unwise to do that, that it's either going to cost them more, it's going to take more time, they want that solution faster, or they need that solution faster at the end of the day. And if they don't believe that, then they're not going to move forward. So those 5 beliefs or agreements are really the core to actually getting the yes in any sales situation. So I'll just run through them again. They agree that they want a better result. They also agree that that better result is possible. They agree that there is a specific problem that needs to be solved. They agree that the problem is costing them a specific amount of money, time, energy, whatever it might be, but it's costing them. And then finally, that it is unwise or impossible to actually move forward with it without your help, your service, or your product. So those 5 agreements, if you can actually build those into your sales system and actually help work people through that process, sometimes you can do it in one call, sometimes you'll do it over a process, whether it be an online or an offline one, then you're going to get a lot more yeses. And in fact, you'll almost always get yeses if you can get those 5 agreements in line. And it's interesting, if you actually go back and have a look at any of the sales calls or the sales discussions that you've done where you haven't got those 5 agreements, that's where you found that things have probably fallen down. So that's all I've got for today. If you're looking to actually increase your sales, then potentially you can talk to me about the Mastermind, The Forge, which is helping people do that. We're also increasing the clients that people are getting into their business. And it's funny now, actually, within The Forge, one of the things that the problems that we're finding is how to remove the bottlenecks so we can actually get the growth that we want. Because at the end of the day, the marketing's working and things are coming in, but then we need to be able to say yes and do the work. And that's obviously one of those big problems that actually happens when marketing works. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit about that, I think there's a link below. You can click on that and go and check out my masterclass, which is about how to attract better clients fast, even in this environment. And that'll give you some more tips on the marketing side of things. So then it gives you more opportunity to put in these 5 beliefs in the sales. Till next time, stay passionate, and I will catch you on the next one.